Hey there! Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to be talking about Edward Seaga. To my fellow subscribers, please know that I am not politically biased. If I speak of one, I will speak of the other, so I hope you enjoy. Edward Philip George Seaga was born on the 28th of May 1930 in Boston, Massachusetts, United States of Philip George Seaga, who was of Lebanese Jamaican descent, and Erna, who was Jamaican of African, Scottish, and Indian descent. Edward's father, Philip Seaga, had moved to the US seeking to take advantage of the prosperity of the roaring 20s, but the Wall Street crash of 1929 scorched those dreams. 3 months after Edward's birth in Boston, the Seagas returned to Jamaica. He was baptized in Kingston's Anglican Parish Church on the 5th of December 1930. The young Seaga was educated at Bulmer's Boys, one of the Bulmer's schools in Jamaica. He went to the United States for higher education, graduating from Harvard University in 1952 with a Bachelor's of Arts degree in Social Sciences. Before embarking on his political career, Seaga was a music producer and promoter. He subsequently took a research post at the University of the West Indies. Seaga's research led to an interest in popular Jamaican music. In 1955, he supervised the recording of an album of ethnic Jamaican music. He continued to produce recordings by other artists and in the late 1950s set up West Indies Record Limited, releasing early recordings by artists such as Higgs and Williams and Byron Lee and the Dragonaires. Beginning in 1961, Seaga lived in West Kingston. He became deeply involved in its music scene and recorded some of its artists. Seaga's political career began in 1959 when Alexander Bustamante, founder of the JLP, nominated him to serve in the upper house of the Jamaican Parliament, the Legislative Council. His appointment at the age of 29 made him the youngest member ever appointed to the Legislative Council. While he was in the Senate, Seaga made his well-reported speech about the haves and the have-not. As one of the founding fathers in the framing of the Jamaican Constitution in 1961, Seaga spearheaded far-reaching constitutional reforms. He initiated a rewrite of the Human Rights section of the Constitution to provide for a Charter of Fundamental Rights and Freedoms, creation of the post of Public Defender, and curtailment of some of the powers of the Prime Minister to provide a better balance of power between the executive and the Parliament in the Jamaican system of governance. In April 1962, Seaga was elected Member of Parliament for West Kingston, the waterfront area in the capital city. Historically, it has been the oldest settlement in Kingston for poor working-class residents, many of whom are unemployed. He held that seat for 43 consecutive years until he retired, making him the longest-serving Member of Parliament in the history of Jamaica and the Caribbean region. He is the only person to have been elected as Member of Parliament for West Kingston for more than one term and won 10 consecutive terms. Immediately after winning his seat in 1962, Seaga was appointed to the cabinet as Minister of Development and Welfare, with responsibility for all areas of planning, social development, and culture. He initiated the redevelopment of Backwell Wall, a notorious large slum in West Kingston, and its replacement by housing, schools, and community amenities, which was named Tivoli Gardens. Seaga also used his position to continue to promote Jamaican music. Following the 1967 Jamaican general election, Seaga was appointed Minister of Finance and Planning. Seaga championed the cause calling for the return of the remains of Marcus Garvey to Jamaica. However, 4 years later, Seaga was a part of the cabinet of Prime Minister Hugh Shearer that banned Walter Rodney from Jamaica for allegedly stirring up racial hatred. In the 1972 Jamaican general election, the PNP led by Micheal Manley won 37 seats to the JLP's 16, and Shearer and Seaga were swept out of power. In 1974, he became leader of the JLP, a post he held for 30 years. He was also leader of the parliamentary opposition in various periods. In the 1976 Jamaican general election, the PNP won another landslide, winning 47 seats to the JLP's 13. The turnout was a very high 85%. There was a lot of political violence in the 1970s. This allegedly started in 1975 after Henry Kissinger failed in his attempts to get Manley to stop his support for Cuba and Angola and their fight against the armies of South Africa. According to a former CIA agent, the CIA allegedly supplied arms to supporters of the JLP party, and there was a significant upturn in political violence. Seaga repeatedly denied the accusation. The 1980 Jamaican general election featured considerable violence, including running gun battles, and would be won by the JLP in a landslide. Edward P.G. Seaga became Prime Minister of Jamaica following the 30th of October 1980 general election when the JLP won a landslide victory over the incumbent PNP with the largest mandate under 1993 when the PNP surpassed that total. Out of 60 seats contested in 1980, the JLP won 51 seats to the PNP's 9. The mandate of Seaga and the JLP was renewed in the uncontested 1983 general elections. He continued as Prime Minister until February 1989. Widely regarded as the most influential Jamaican Prime Minister, Seaga was a controversial figure. His supporters claimed that he saved Jamaica from communism, while others asserted that he, quote-unquote, mashed up Jamaica. In terms of foreign policy, the Caribbean has long been seen as an unofficial backyard of the United States of America. In a region with such a complicated, intertwined history, meshed with various world superpowers, the act of making decisions that can affect the country is handled with care. Understanding the threat associated with communism, Seaga reversed the hands of friendship extended by Manley to Cuba and Grenada, two countries that had adopted strong anti-American stance during the Russo-American political standoff of the 70s and 80s. In an attempt to steer his country into the clear, he was forced into adopting an alliance with world leaders such as Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher. Seaga cut ties with Cuba shortly after winning the 1980 election, and he, as the representative of the strongest Caribbean nation, indirectly acknowledged the Caribbean support for the U.S. invasion of Grenada in 1983. In doing so, Seaga is credited with preventing the eradication of Jamaica economically and saving the country from a path leading to shackling sanctions like Cuba or foreign invasion by the U.S. to eliminate communism as seen in Grenada. Edward Seaga was the fifth Prime Minister of Jamaica from 1980 to 1989 and the leader of the Jamaican Labour Party from 1974 to 2005. His retirement from political life marked the end of Jamaica's founding generation in active politics. He was the last serving politician to have entered public life before independence in 1962, as he was appointed to the Legislative Council in 1959. Seaga is credited with having built the financial and planning infrastructure of the country after independence, as well as having developed its arts and crafts and awareness of national heritage. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed my video of Edward Seaga, the former Prime Minister of Jamaica. To support my channel, please like, subscribe, or leave a comment if you like, or share the video to family and friends. Plus, donate any money to me, please, guys. I'm broke. My PayPal button is below. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.